Hi, and welcome to the Millionaire Marathon series of the Success Path Show. I'm your host, Violet Dietrich, and I am so excited about our guest today. You know, we had a little bit of challenges of trying to get our schedules together, but I'm glad that you were able to make it, Michelle. And let me formally introduce you. Michelle Tascoe is a financial life coach based in Los Angeles. She's appeared on the Dr. Phil Show as well as the Chelsea Handler Show. Her 12-year coaching track has earned her the privilege of working with noteworthy coaching clients, such as executive of Victoria's Secrets, Capitol Records, Honest Company, Disney, Warner Brothers, New York best-selling authors, also former Miss New York, and a U.S. Senator. Michelle has helped her clients pay off tens of thousands of dollars in debt, get five-figure raises, double and triple their money, buy their first house, buy their first investment property, and ultimately become debt-free. Her approach is hands-on and practical. It's not what you make, but what you keep that matters most. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi, Violet. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited that, we were able to coordinate you being here. I know you're really, really busy, so I value your time. And I wanted to ask you, Michelle, why financial coaching? What got you on this path?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story because you never really realize the end of the journey until you're on it. And then you look back and you realize, wow, that definitely was a journey. So I'd say at the beginning, I had 4 credit cards and collections. My car was repossessed. And that wasn't really the best start in life financially, even though I did all the right things. I went to college, I had good grades. I worked in corporate America and for some prestigious people. I was an assistant to the president of Guess Clothing, assistant to a few celebrity interior designers and photographers. But just because I did well doesn't mean that I knew what I was doing with my finances. And so when I ended up with 4 credit cards and collections, my car was repossessed. What I lacked in learning in school, I learned on my own through personal development. And it helped me to understand that if it was meant to be, it was up to me to figure this out. And also in learning more about the Bible, there's all these different financial principles in the Bible of ownership, I would say stewardship, as well as leadership. The 3 areas that I coach my current clients on. And that, I'll say, mess in the beginning, right, turned into my message of being able to manage your finances, keep things on track, have a system to follow, and be able to just change really your financial story.
Well, praise God. I'm so glad that you were able to figure it out. I know finances could not only be challenging, for men, but especially for women. For some reason, women have a lot of trouble handling finances and sometimes leave it to, if they have a spouse, to deal with those things. But one thing that we didn't mention in the bio, but you did kind of touch on it right now, is about how much you love and respect the Bible. Can you tell us why you are so Bible obsessed?
Well, I think that when you operate in life without, I'll say, spiritual guidance, when you find it, you realize, oh my gosh, there's like something bigger than me that I belong to, that I'm a part of. And I don't know if it's an obsession, but I would just say that I just have a lot of trust and faith in who God is and how he's shown up for me. And even finding God, I was actually, oddly enough, in a personal development seminar. And there was an, I'll say, additional training called spiritual equipping. And it was at that event that was optional, that the speaker broke down, well, everything I'm teaching you is actually in this book. And she held up the Bible. And I grew up Catholic, and, I just never thought that you could learn those things in there. And so when she broke this down, it made so much sense to me, and it helped me to realize I'm missing something. And in that missing, she opened up the opportunity to follow the same God that has helped her reach success. And that, so many years ago built my faith and built, I would say that God really has helped me build my business. And he's really helped me transform my life, because it's about understanding like the truth of who you are and what you're meant to do in the world, and trusting it and following through.
Yes, for sure. I know I was raised Catholic, and then I gave my heart to Christ when I was about 9. But even now, God is showing me more and more things in the Bible. It's like, it's right here for you. All his promises and everything that, we have as an inheritance, which is a right to us through what Jesus did. So I just really, really admire about that, about you, Michelle. And I wanted to touch on the topic. It's not what you make, but what you keep that matters.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, what really counts in your bank account? What's actually left in it, right? And it's so easy to make a whole lot of money, and probably much, much easier to spend a whole lot of money. And many times when I work with clients, one of their biggest complaints is that I work so hard and I have nothing to show for it. I have nothing. And yes, I had some great dinners, and yes, we went on vacation. I've got like great clothes in my closet or whatnot. But what else is left? And there's just this understanding that when you want to create financial security, you want to know that you have a nest egg. You want to know that your money is making you money, instead of so many of us who have their money costing them money because of credit card debt or loans or just any kind of debt, right? So when you think about what is the true test of success with your finances, it's what you get to keep. I have a lot of clients that I've helped make over $1 million, in revenue in their business. But it's not impressive if you make $1 million and you're only like taking home like 6 figures of that. That's a whole lot of work that you did, versus somebody that maybe makes 300,000, but they're able to keep 200,000, So that's how I look at it. And what matters most is what you keep instead of what you make. I think it's just a catchy way to point out what's really important when you're making money.
Yes, for sure. And Michelle, I know we spoke before about my audience that, they've been trying so hard to reach their kingdom goals, but maybe they're bankrupt right now because of all the money that they spent on programs or things that they feel they're an investment, but right now they haven't moved ahead. So what are some practical tips that you think they should take in order to move forward in that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if your audience are those that, have invested in themselves, but they haven't seen, I'll say, the fruit of it, I think that it's a matter of what effort have you actually put out there? Because it's one thing to learn something in a book or in a course, it's another thing to apply it. So there's this idea, that said that knowledge is power. Well, not really. It's not power if you don't do anything with it, right? It's really the application of that knowledge that's power. And all of us as entrepreneurs, we fail forward. So I would just recommend that not to be afraid of making mistakes, not to try to make everything perfect, because it's the step-by-step incremental growth, seeing a little bit of results and a little more results and a little more results, that will create that momentum, so that you have the understanding that this is a marathon. Obviously, it's not like a sprint. And I was working with a coach of mine, and he had said to me, which I think rings true, is that in order to be successful in business, you've got to stick around long enough to be successful in business. And oftentimes we're just one idea away, one decision away from an entirely different outcome. So that's really up to us to have that stick-to-itiveness and really faithfulness to keep on going.
Yes, for sure. And I know that you've helped a lot of people in different areas of finances, like getting their first investment property, like it says, buy their first house, even triple their money. So what are some things that you've helped them with to be able to do some of those things?
Yeah, well, it really comes down to numbers because the numbers don't lie. It's neutral. And so when you're looking at where your finances are at, you want to know a couple of things. You want to know clearly what is it that you're really making, like all the streams of money that's coming in, big or small. And you really want to know what are all of those expenses. Not guessing, because not like trying to go off of memory, because most of us don't even remember what we ate yesterday, right? But honestly, taking the time to comb through 90 days of spending. And in that 90 days, there's just no hiding because it's all very, very black and white, right? So that's what I take a lot of my clients through. I have a methodology called the Better Budget Blueprint. And when you are able to do that, and then do this next step, which I think is extremely important, understand what are all of those like one time a year, I call them expected but unexpected when it's here kind of expenses, because those are things that end up for some being just put on a credit card to figure out later. These are things like your auto registration, vacations, gifts, something medical, a vet bill, but these all add up. And so when most people handle these bills, it's more of a reactive sense. It's like, oh gosh, it's here already. Oh, it's Christmas already, even though Christmas is always in December, right? But if you don't have a proactive plan of saying, hey, I know this is going to happen this year. I need to set aside this amount for these things so that when it comes, I already have the money, right? Wouldn't it be so awesome to plan a vacation and then work out the finances ahead of time so that when you're ready to go on that vacation, the money's already there. You can spend that guilt-free. You've stewarded your money so that you have no worry of like, oh gosh, how am I going to pay for the airfare and the hotel and, the activities, and we can only do this activity, not this one, it's not really my idea of a vacation. And so I say that to say that what your income is, your expenses, those expected but unexpected when it's here kind of expenses. And then that allows you to know what really is left over. And here's the gap. Either there's not a lot left over, and so of course we got to like turn the dials around where you're spending, or we live in the greatest country in the world where we can start a business and generate different types of income, whether you're selling clothes on Poshmark, or you have a product that you can sell, or a service that you can provide. And it is really about understanding, what is the gift that I am meant to give to the world? What did God impart into me to be able to make a difference in someone else's life? And then share it and just be yourself sharing it. And put a dollar amount, because in scripture it says the worker is always worthy of their wages, right? So if you're going to work, then get paid for it. And this will help you with understanding not just your self-worth, but like the diligence and consistency of showing up. There is like a faithfulness in building business, right? So it's really building your character and your leadership, which I think is so awesome. And then you don't stop, you keep on going. I think that oftentimes most people don't realize that, running a business and getting to that million goal, it's not an overnight thing. It's years and years and years of working on yourself, developing yourself, fine-tuning, refining, right? I love the idea that, people don't know that they're diamonds, right? And I say it that way because if you don't know that you're a diamond, you're not knowing that you're going through a refining process. And there's pressure, right, with diamonds and how they're formed. And even with pure gold, there's a refining process where like the dross goes to the top, right? And so I think that if you begin to develop yourself, you realize, oh, I'm not the same person I was last year or the year before or the year before. And as you begin to continue to elevate to your 2.0 version, your 3.0 version, your 4.0 version, that's who creates the 2.0 kind of life, your 3.0 life, your 4.0 life. And then you don't stop, you keep on going and not stay the same, because that's, I'll say that transformation of who you get to become allows you to do the things that you never would have done. And that type of activity makes up the gap between results and no results. Does this make sense?
I love that, Michelle. And I could just see your passion through that. So I can tell that you're passionate about finances, about personal development. And definitely we need to grow to new levels every year. And it's awesome to be able to remember that I'm not where I used to be. Maybe I'm not where I want to be yet, but at least I'm not where I used to be. And I know that I used to be a huge saver before, but I love that second option that you said now even more, that instead of, scrimping and saving, make more money with the gifts that you were given. So Michelle, I have a question for you. What is your favorite transformation story from one of your clients?
Oh, that's a good question. I have so many. You're the one I think I shared with you. I have a client. At the time that I was working with him, he was renting a room. He didn't have a car. He was also working through a substance that we'll just say that he was working on becoming sober. We'll just say it that way, right? And super talented guy, really talented, but just, sometimes life can be hard and you make the wrong decisions, and enough wrong decisions and wrong turns, you end up in a place that you never thought of. So this client and I, we worked for about 2.5 years. At the end of last year, he sent me an email and he said, Michelle, here's a gift of a massage, which is so sweet of him. But I am now 2 years sober and you have changed my life.
Oh.
And let me give you just some insight on how much his life has changed. Of course, he's 2 years sober, which is awesome, 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 awesome. He bought a house cash. He makes multiple 6 figures, paid off all of his debt, furnished his home with, an interior designer. He's in a relationship now. And there's just this life that's back. There's an aliveness, there's a hope that wasn't there before. And there's a belief in himself as well. And it's funny to think that, well, you're a financial coach, but yeah, I'm a financial and life coach. I think that's really what differentiates me, because I'm not really just focused on, let's make you more money, let's get you out of debt, let's get you to buy a house. I really like to look at the whole person, because I think that we are, I would say, like triune being. We're body, soul, and spirit, right? And in personal development, we've taught like how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you can, if you're not having success in certain areas, most likely, that transcends in other areas. So for me, I love to see my clients win, not in just their finances, but in their health, in their careers, in their relationships, in their own personal relationship with themselves, spiritually, of course. And yeah, that's what makes coaching special.
Wow, what an amazing story. And that just shows you somebody that was, very, very in a huge amount of trouble and struggling. But if it can happen for them, if this kind of transformation is possible for them, it's possible for you.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm so glad you shared that, Michelle. So Michelle, we only have a few minutes left, and I want to make sure to mention the freebie that you have for the audience. Can you please explain it?
Yeah. So I put together a video. I've coached for 14 years, right? So there's a lot that I've learned in that time. And I put it together a free gift. It's a video called The Keys to Financial Success. And that's what we're offering for you. I'd say the value of it, if I sold it separately, it'd be like $297. But I, of course, just want to be generous and share this with you so that it's something that you can start with. So you can start shifting, your thinking, shifting that mindset, shifting the way of being, and also shifting like just your energy around life. Because one of my favorite quotes is from Jim Rohn, and he says, "Don't make it a goal to make $1 million because of the money, but because of who you'll become on the way to reach that goal." And so the cool thing is about that is that he never said, don't make it a goal to reach the $1 million. He just said that the goal be the $1 million, because it shifts your mindset of, if I make this goal $1 million, then I've got to be the person that'll earn that million. So if you're thinking about that, then who do you get to be, right? And that's a lot of what I cover in the Financial Keys to Success.
I love that. And we'll put the link for that in the description so you can click right on it, access that video, make sure to watch it. It'll shift your life, and it's worth around $297. So generous. Michelle, thank you so much for offering this to the SuccessPaTh Show audience. And Michelle, where can people find you most frequently on social media, which is
absolutely
where do you hang out the most?
Well, I can be found online quite easily. If you Google Financial Coach Los Angeles, I happen to come up 3-4 times on that first page. And you can reach me directly on my website, MichelleTascoe.com, which you'll see my name on there, so you can just spell it that way, MichelleTascoe.com. Read more about me and reach out. There's a way to get in touch with me on my site.
Awesome. And we'll put the links also in the description. That way they'll be easy to find for everyone. So be sure to stay in touch with Michelle, follow her, and make sure to contact her if you have any questions. And Michelle, one last question that I ask my speakers is, for that person out there that is down in the dumps, that is depressed, that maybe is struggling in their faith, saying, why, God, why? And is about to lose everything and maybe even throw in the towel. What is one thing that you want to share with them?
Yeah. Oh gosh. I actually was coaching someone in a similar situation. And I'll share a story because I think that'll ring home. When I had 4 credit cards and collections and my car was repossessed, and I was married just a couple of years. It was just the early time of us being married. We wanted to buy a house, right? And in doing so, realized that because of where I was financially, that there was just no way. And at that time, I thought that it was such a huge setback. Gosh, like, why is this so hard? We just want to be in a house of our own. But looking back, I realized how it was such a great setup, because we've bought 7 houses in the last 12 years. Here's why. Oftentimes the Lord, in hindsight, you realize the setback that you're in is a setup for you to step into what you're meant to do. And in thinking about that, I realized, okay, no one's going to tackle this debt but me. I was hiding, honestly, from it, and I didn't want to handle it because for a lot of reasons, insecurity, just guilt, shame, all of that, right? But it was the biggest gift because in order to buy a house, I had to finally face it. And in so doing, the $64,000 of credit card debt that went into collections, I, with just favor, in my opinion, was able to settle that for $24,000.
Awesome.
That's huge, right? And what did it do for me? It helped me to realize that I'm in the driver's seat. I can trust the Lord. I can have ownership over my past mistakes, and I can rise up and steward and lead in a way that I could change what that meant. And so now looking back, that setback was really a set up. So I would just encourage you, whatever it is that you're dealing with at the moment, think about how is this from a different perspective, from God's perspective, a set up instead of a set back. And when you reframe it that way, then you realize, oh, this is actually an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to step into my calling, to step into the more that I know that I get to be, and to get creative and to trust, and then watch how the Lord will open those doors for you.
For sure. So love that, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here, for all that wisdom that you brought to the audience. And to the audience, thank you so much for being here, for watching this. Make sure to like this episode, share it with your friends so that we can bring you more content like this in the future. We want to say we love you and God bless you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.